GM.
GM. Hello, everybody.
right.
Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. We are your captains. Yo, it's Tuesday. Here we go.
Yeah,
It's
clear
we
sky.
never stream on Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to our first Tuesday stream for NFA. I mean, what a day to skip yesterday. It was a good day just to touch some grass and just not even look at social media. Don't look at Twitter. Don't look at the prices. Price go down, price bad. You just don't look. And hey, we're back.
What a great day to take a break yesterday, man.
Yeah.
If you were online yesterday, I mean, it might have been like red alert, sell everything. Even over the weekend, but especially yesterday.
Yeah.
Even my wife, I mean, she came home and she found me, I forgot, downstairs somewhere. And she's like, hey, I made the mistake of looking at the markets today. I was like, oh yeah, you didn't like what you saw? And she's like, no, I wish I wouldn't have looked.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's why I tell people, I'm like, if you have like a decent sized portfolio in NFTs or even in crypto, like you better have a strong stomach, because it is not for the faint of heart. If you can't handle the large swings that you see your portfolio go through, then yeah, you should probably just go invest in some stocks or something, right? Go get in the S&P 500. It's going to get you a nice little 4% a year.
Yeah, and
But we're
shout out to
vibing.
everybody. Shout out to everybody here. We got Pitch Dark. We got let's see, Law Dog. I know Harry Hoonar here, just a fish.
Yo, and Pitch just resubscribed. Yo, thanks for that resub.
Yo, Tagline. Oh, yo, Pitch Dark. Appreciate you subbing, my boy.
Yeah, that was very aggressive. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm speechless right there. But Pitch Dark,
What
you
up,
should feel
dog?
special. Yeah, that's a first right there. Yeah, thanks to everyone for joining here on an off day for us. I was traveling yesterday. It was my fault. You guys are probably used to us rugging you by now. Similar to the Azuki founders, when we frequently rug our followers. So it was my fault yesterday. But this week we're going to try something different. We're going to do a Tuesday-Thursday stream instead of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So no stream Wednesday, no stream Friday, but we'll be back on Thursday for another stream. So we're going to give that a try out just to see how it goes. It's a good week to try stuff different, right? There's nothing going on anyways. But before we get started, Jeremy, how was your weekend? And you got anything to add?
My weekend went pretty well. Just did some stuff again around the house, just because with all the yard stuff going on, and then also I had a little photography session on Saturday. Just went by really fast though. I wish they could slow down a little bit. And it's been hot, brother. Like it's been, I mean, the temperature isn't too high, like 93, 95. It's not too high yet because we still got a long ways to go into summer. But bro, it just feels
Not
different.
too high, mid 90s. I mean, I was down. I said I was traveling. I was down in Texas, and on Saturday and Sunday it reached over 100 already. And I walked outside and I said, I'm going out. Give me back to Kansas. Give me back to the Midwest or the North, a little bit more north. And no, I like my 70s and I mean even 80. I'll take that. But that 100, I stepped out and I instantly sweat. It was not good.
It's hitting different right now. It's hitting different than last year. Yo, Law Dog with the sub for 3 months. Yo, shout out Law Dog. Much
Shout out,
love.
Law Dog.
Thank you very much.
Yo, Nagathor. Thanks for
you
stopping by.
Thank you for the hit and run. We appreciate you just saying hi. How was your weekend?
It was all right. I mean, it was, I was down in Texas. Got to spend time with some family. I mean, I was there for a funeral, so it wasn't it wasn't like it was anything crazy. But yeah, it was good. Got to see some friends, got to see some family, and we take that. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's look at the market. Let's see how it was. Yesterday was, if you looked at Flip's Finance yesterday, I don't think the color green existed on this website yesterday. But now we can look where we're gonna look at it now. You can see a little bit more green. Things are starting to maybe stabilize. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a dead cat bounce. Who knows? Let's look.
I don't know.
So let's look at some of the top gainers in the last 24 hours. We've got, shout out to all of our followers. Shout out to us. The Akutars, they're back over in ETH, baby. They're pamping. I know these got down to, I think, like 0.7, or they got down pretty low, but it looks like they've had a nice bump up today, which is really good to see. I know we have some. I'm pretty sure a lot of our viewers have some of these as well. Definitely a vibe. So GG's if you're still holding those. Hopefully Micah can continue building and build off of that. Let's see. We've got Webland. Some more metaverse lands. That's moving up a little bit. Outside of that, I guess Meebits, they've had nice little jump up, and then Psychedelics Anonymous has also had a nice jump up. Looking up here, do you see anything that sticks out? I guess this probably sticks out to you right here, the Proof Collective back in the 90s, because they got down to like 60 ETH, the Proof
60,
passes. Yeah.
But it's one of those things that because there's only 1,000, it's always been volatile.
Yep.
So it's never held like a super strong floor where it's like it's only that price for a long time. Like even when Moonbirds dropped, I mean they were like 50 before Moonbirds, shortly before. They got all the way up to like 120 during Moonbirds, and then actually the day of or the day after they dropped all the way back down to 60. 70, 85, and it's just because the low supply is just everywhere, man. So
I mean, we saw the same thing with the Cybercomics Genesis collection, right? Like that got up to over 200 ETH floor at one point because there's only 1,000. And whenever that euphoria is going, people aren't listing, and that price just keeps going up and up. All it takes is a few sales to skyrocket the price, and you just kind of have that ladder of just constantly increasing. And then once it goes stagnant, the price drops pretty quickly.
Yeah. But a general level that I'd expect to see for Proof is somewhere around the 100, give or take, but 100 seems to be like what most people kind of valued it at right now. Yo, GM No Fear, appreciate you stopping by. The other one is just a Project PXN, because even during this weekend, like during the FUD and whatnot, like Project PXN has really been, I can't say necessarily stable, but a pretty good amount of volume, and to hold that floor is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think they're getting a lot of pump right now due to what's been going on with Azukis, is what it seems like. Like Azukis are completely tanking at the same time Project PXN is going up, and I think we're seeing some of that money kind of flow into another speculative play, which I think is kind of interesting. It's just, that's classic Degen, one anonymous dev messes up, then you switch to another anonymous dev and just kind of keep going back and forth until you find the right one that sticks, and we're seeing that. Let's look at the flip side of this. Let's see who's not doing great in the last 24 hours. I mean, so the big one right now, and you can see that 24-hour volume's at almost 14,000 ETH. The Azukis, they're down bad, and they for those that didn't really pay attention to anything yesterday, it came out yesterday that the Azuki dev and founders were also the ones that were behind Funks, Zunks, and a project called Tendies, which is like a My Effing Pickle ripoff type of thing. So after that news broke, Azuki's just kind of took a nosedive. They went down to 10, they pumped it back up to 16, 17, back down to 12 and 13, back up to 16. And now they have the spaces this morning, they're back down to 12 because, we'll get into that, but they've been on a roller coaster and they're down bad. We've got, looks like the Ether Orcs are down a little bit. Something Token, we talked about those last week. They're continuing their downtrend.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
And then the Beans, the something right here. This is the Beans. So they're obviously seeing the backlash of the Azuki criticism as well.
I thought about buying Azuki like a couple weeks ago around 2023. And then also the Beans at like 4 or 5, and so I'm glad that I didn't. Sheesh.
Yeah, I mean, one name that sticks out to me right here is the Winter Bears. Do you remember minting these in the Discord last year?
I did not. That's the problem.
I remember a ton of us minted these because we were just sitting in Discord one day, and I think someone found them, and we were just like, I think I shared it, and we were like, oh, this is what a joke, and we just, we are like, you know what, let's just go ahead and mint it and throw it out, and I think a bunch of us minted it, but they ended up getting to I think a 1 ETH floor at one time. It was actually a pretty good mint and flip for those that were in the Discord at that time. We don't have those days anymore. We don't have these crappy projects you can mint and then just pumps immediately and then goes back down, but
yeah, I didn't participate in those. Using Super Degen was not your journey.
Yeah. Anything else out of these, out of the negative, the losers of the day in the red? Anything else stick out to you? Obviously, there's a lot of just kind of nothing project, but there are some out there.
No, not a lot that stands out. Just overall, I mean, kind of like a correction that we're going through at the moment, and you're really seeing and you can determine a pattern, like a trend from which projects just poop the bed, right?
Yep.
Like which ones just do not last at all. They're essentially zero. You can't sell them, and deduct your own reasoning and logic behind those, and let that allow you to, or let that help you determine which projects to not get into.
Yep. Cool. Well, that is it for the market update. And while we're talking about the market, let's just go and talk about what's been going on, right? Like, so this last week, especially yesterday, it's been right across the board. It's been negative. It's been just toxic. You see people come out, their true colors are showing. It's been wild. It's been crazy. And like I said earlier, if you don't have a strong stomach, then this is the time that you're probably like really kind of shaking your boots a little bit. You're just getting very uneasy. You're getting kind of queasy. You're thinking like, oh, you have all this regret building up. You're like, I should have sold 2 weeks ago. What was I doing? This is never going to recover. So whenever we approach these times like this, what's your general approach, and what's been your approach this time, especially yesterday in this most recent, quote, bear market crash, whatever you want to call it?
I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. It's like, but before this time even gets here, like take out what you're comfortable with, like what you want to secure in terms of profits, whether you keep that in ETH, like some USD token, or pull it out in cash, like
some UST.
UST, yeah, USDC, and then USD. No, not USD. No, not USD. You almost got me there.
Okay, I was about to say, I don't think he knows.
Yeah, you almost got me there. I wasn't paying attention. But pull out what you're comfortable with, and then everything else, like if you're literally not okay with it dumping like this, 30-40% like overnight, then you're probably over leveraged a bit. And of course, like it hurts anybody, like whether you have a small portfolio, big portfolio. Like I'm not just gonna sit here and say like, yeah, I'm totally fine with it dropping 40%, but you have to be okay with it in terms of how it affects your trading strategy. Like you shouldn't let that make you be emotional and make decisions based off of that. Like you have to go into it with a plan. Otherwise, I think you're just gonna get wrecked one way or the other.
Yeah, I think this is the time where people, like, it's easy, and whenever we're all euphoric and the prices are going up, it's easy to say like, oh man, I really got conviction for this project, and then all of a sudden this week happens and the price dumps, and then now you don't have conviction, right? And I always ask myself, like, and I always ask those people, what's changed? What's changed from, for Bored Apes? What's changed from the 150 ETH floor to now the 100 ETH floor, right? And it's like nothing really from on the team and the project standpoint has changed too much. It's the only thing that's changed has been like the market, the prices and everything, which, and if you have conviction in a project long term, then the short term prices shouldn't really bug you too much. And if they do bug you too much, then yeah, you are, like you said, you're probably a little overexposed, and you should probably reevaluate and get into a more comfortable position.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's just what it comes down to. Again, like we can't sit up here and just say, yep, totally happy with just what just happened. The thing is like I can be a bit more calm and relaxed about it because I can live with that. Like I'm okay with that, knowing how my portfolio is balanced. So
yeah, and right now, like, and we talk about this all the time, like just good trading, like a good trading style. You sell on the way up and you don't sell on the way down. So like right now, like in yesterday, I would not have been a time where I'm trying to sell a perceived blue chip, right? That's already lost 30, 40, 50% of its value. Like I'm still just going to hold that and wait since I have conviction. And it's just not a good time to sell like a blue chip because people still perceive those as quote unquote blue chips. So their price should recover, and then I would wait till the next euphoric moment to try to sell. Like the time to sell an ape would have been whenever they were at 150, right? They literally like a 150 floor a few weeks ago. Like that would have been the time to sell an ape, and I could have gotten on board with that. And not so much, selling it now or whenever, or not even just apes, but just all these projects in general. Like Azuki's were at 30 plus ETH, you could have sold then. and obviously a lot has changed since then to justify their price drop. But you look at Doodles, you get Clone X, all of these. Like, it's just not the time that I'm looking to sell any of these projects, right? I'm just going to hold them and wait for the long term, unless something happened where it's like, if I don't sell this, then I can't pay my bills or I'm gonna get evicted, right? But if I don't actually need the liquidity, then there's absolutely no reason to sell right now, unless you genuinely think that it's going to zero, and then you need to question yourself, like, well, maybe I didn't have that conviction in the beginning, and kind of, look yourself in the mirror and do some soul searching in this time.
Soul searching.
Let's get deep. Let's look into each other's souls, peer into your eyes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. So we've kind of hit on that. Chat, let us know. Yesterday, it was bad. I think if you're in the Discord, we're basically memeing and trolling our way through it. The classic meme of, you're crying, but then you got the keck face over the crying face. That's pretty much what it was yesterday. Law Dog, I know, GG to Schiller for his sell yesterday. I didn't mean anything in my comments to come out as attacking to Schiller. He held that ape for over a year. That's a huge sale. You're right. He flipped that from 0.08 to 88 or 89 ETH, whatever he sold it for. That's a huge W, and he held for more than a year. Not attacking him.
Yeah, I think it's just overall. Because there's a lot of sellers yesterday, right? I mean, obviously there has to be an equal amount of buyers, but definitely sell pressure yesterday. But this just goes out to all the sellers. Like, if that was your plan going into it, without being like an emotional reaction of all the floors dropping, like that's totally fine. Like, hey, you have your exit point. Okay, if it ever reaches that, that's when I would sell. Like, that's good. But then if you just see red across the board and you're like, oh, it's over, everything's it's dead, it's dying, NFTs are done. Yeah. Then and then that's what causes you to sell, then you're probably in the wrong game.
And I think some of the most annoying things I find in this space is just how quick people are to change with the market. Like, and we saw it on Twitter, we saw it in Discord. Like, whenever prices are up, everyone's, it's wag me. Everyone's euphoric. Price go up. Don't FUD anything. Everything's going great. Let's not talk about it. Let's just, hey, we're vibing. We're good. Then as soon as prices start going down, people turn like yesterday on Twitter and on some of the Discords, people are pretty toxic, right? Like legit toxic, and it's still going on. Like, people, and that's why I said on tweet yesterday, like, people's true colors are showing right now, and like some of that toxicity, like, I'm not here for that, and so I'm, I was trying to be a little more positive. Usually, I guess whenever things are overly positive, I try to be a little bit more negative, or in the middle. If things are overly negative, I'm gonna try to be a little bit more positive and just kind of be a little, a little rounded out a little bit. But so I found myself being more positive than I normally am lately, just because the overall sentiment lately has been just super toxic and negative.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like Pitch Dark, he's always pretty toxic, but especially when things are red, he can definitely, like, his true colors show.
Yeah, and, they showed yesterday. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so just, looking at him as an example, you can't really let these times get to you, and I think you just gotta get in the right mindset, just be really stable, and be more like JVB or something, just super positive, just help everybody out. Super
positive, just wag me,
Yeah, we're all gonna make it. We're all here together. We've been through it.
All right, well, let's hop into some of our news and notes we have to talk about. And there's a lot to talk about. We're gonna get into Azuki's, we're gonna get into other stuff, but we're gonna hit up some news first. So first up, we've got, and this is gonna be, let's see if I can do this. All right. So yes, this is Facebook. We are on Facebook right now. You look, I'm doxed. You can see me doxed right up there. So Mark Zuckerberg basically announced, hey, they're looking at integrating NFTs and Web3, into Instagram, and eventually going to be into Facebook as well. So he kind of announced this yesterday. Something we kind of knew and they've already hinted at, but it looks like he's officially announcing it on Facebook.
Yeah, and it went live like today. So there's a few, and I'll just mention a few profiles, but like Atom Bomb Squad, Blue the Gray, Boss Beauties, NFT, Gary V, Just Mako, and who else? Maybe you guys know Young Jake, I don't know. But those are some of the creators that have access to creating digital collectibles now via Instagram.
Yeah, and I just shared this blog post in the chat. This is what this is the Instagram blog. This is their announcements for showcasing their NFTs on Instagram. So this is kind of their blog post that kind of details everything that they've done. But is this did you expect it to come this early? Is this about is this about time, or what's your kind of general thoughts on this? And does it move the needle for anything?
I guess it's about time because they said they were going to release this. The announcement was quite a while ago. I know it takes time to deploy that and test it and stuff. We want them to do that, but yeah, I think they're just on par. Like it's on time. The thing is that Ethereum and Polygon are supported from the get-go, but the other blockchains are not yet supported in terms of like Flow and Solana. And then the ones that the wallets you can use immediately are the Rainbow Wallet, MetaMask, and Trust Wallet, and then Coinbase Wallet, Dapper, and Phantom are coming soon. But yeah, it's interesting in terms of moving the needle. I think this does move the needle, but not in the traditional sense, or like not the usual sense that we think of. I think it just kind of embeds NFTs into normal day-to-day life, and you start seeing it transition there, right? Like it's going to infiltrate even the smallest things that we do, like maybe even grocery stores. I don't know, but this is just the beginning of that. And I think it's going to make people more comfortable with the idea of NFTs, and maybe we even like right now they're calling them not even NFTs, right? They in the article they mentioned the word NFTs, but they're just calling them digital collectibles.
Yeah, you can see right here in the screenshot, kind of on Instagram, it says digital collectible. Yeah.
So we're gonna see a little bit of introduction and changing of terminology for the public, and I just think that this.
You got those DCs.
This is just another opportunity for everybody to be a bit more educated. So I hope that they back this with like what other platform would be better to educate. I'm not saying they're the best teacher, but the best resource, the most widely accepted resource to go and learn about NFTs.
Yeah, I would like to see Instagram kind of turn a page, because I think the general consensus among the Twitter NFT community is, hey, if it's on Instagram, it's a scam, right? Just don't pay attention to it. And I would like to see that turn, because at the end of the day, we want to grow NFTs, we want to grow this space and grow Web3, and you kind of need these big social media platforms to be on board and have more than just scams on there, more than just ads promoting these these fake cash grab projects. So I would like to see this hopefully helps build a bridge and gives it more credibility on the Instagram platform, which is Instagram. As much as we like Twitter and we spend our time on Twitter, Instagram is much bigger than Twitter, right? At least for people that matter, like the young people that are the future of the world. They're on Instagram. They're not on Twitter. We got all the old heads on Twitter.
Yeah, I use Instagram a lot more than Twitter.
I bet you would. You probably post your pumpkin spice lattes, in a pumpkin patch there, and hey, there's your generic fall picture.
But are Atom Bomb Squads like underrated, undervalued? Because I swear that they get early access to literally everything.
Is it maybe they are. I don't know. I don't even know what their price is right now, so I can't even answer that. But yeah, I don't know. They do get. I mean, that's one thing. So Bobby hundreds, like the hundreds, like the connections he has opens the door for so much for his holders. All right. And I'm gonna be curious whenever if they bring us to Facebook, like how that's gonna work out. Like I wonder if they're gonna go the same direction that Twitter did. Like if you have an NFT as a profile picture, then it's like a different shape. Like Twitter, we have hexagons. Like I wonder if it's something different on Facebook or Instagram. But hey, once that happens, are you changing your ape to your PFP on Facebook? Is it time?
Yeah, I mean I don't have a Facebook, but if I did,
hey, you don't.
It might be time.
I remember, because you can see my profile picture here on Facebook. It's just me and my wife. Oh, we're doxxed. Okay, you can see me. It's too small though. But yeah, I mean, I remember like a few months ago, I changed my profile picture on Twitter or on Facebook to my ape just because I was curious. Because my town in Wichita Falls, like where I'm from in Texas, is a pretty big Facebook town. Like it's they're way behind the ape, way behind the times, and they live on Facebook. And so everyone from my town is on Facebook. And I changed my Facebook picture to my ape one time, and it had like one like, and like everyone just like ignored it. And so I wonder. I'm looking forward to doing that experiment again. If they bring that kind of interoperability to Facebook. All right, so let's go ahead and we've got some more news. Actually, while we're talking about like these big brands doing some more things with Web3 and NFTs, let's jump to something that you sent me. Let me pull it up here. So you sent me this, you sent me this Woken wine, and we're talking about integrating NFTs and in social media or in real life worlds, and it looks like this thing that you found is trying to integrate NFTs and something that's attached to real life. So what is Woken wine?
So this is a project that manga is coming out with. It's called Woken.
I feel like this has JVB and manga written all over it. Like they're the founders behind this secretly.
Yeah, JVB and manga coming out with a project called Woken Wine. Essentially, what Woken Wine is trying to do is not only be an NFT marketplace for wines, but the reason that they're creating the marketplace is because they essentially want to stop counterfeiting of those luxurious premium wines. So there would be tagging them with NFTs, and then with that technology, you would know that you're buying the real thing versus a fake. So pretty simple, but I guess it's gonna depend a lot on the experience of that, and if they're charging a premium for just it being tagged with an NFT. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's still, you can see there 65 days. I signed up for the waiting list just because I love wine. And it interests me that they're doing NFTs. So we'll see. Could be a dud. I'm not saying this is something like to flip, but again, some of the stories that we're kind of sharing with you today, it's just you see the tech infiltrating everyday life.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the stuff we need to see, because people always ask, like, what's the point of NFTs? Like, there's no point other than just, it's a profile picture. And this is the stuff we need to see, like how NFTs are integrated into these real life, this real life utility, instead of just the utility of, hey, the utility of holding this is you get airdropped another NFT, and then that gets you airdropped another NFT. It's like, well, no, there needs to be some real life utility, and I'm all here for the innovation and trying something new, right?
Absolutely. So if you like wine or whatever, I'd suggest just signing up for the wait list. I'll try to keep you guys updated on it as well. But yeah, this is just one of those things where if you don't have any interest in this, just don't sign up.
Cool. Awesome. I know I'm not a wine drinker, but my wife is, so I may have to check it out just because of that. I'm sure she'll like that. So we've got some news on the Doodles front. Let's go in order here. So the first thing that happened for Doodles, this was a few days ago. So on May 6th, so on Friday, they announced, like, hey, they announced a new CEO, and it's Julian, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name correct. Holgen. I don't know. Holgen, sure. So Julian, he's the new Doodles CEO. And the backstory for Julian is he is the former president of Billboard. So pretty big company, in Web 2, making his move into Web 3 in a pretty prominent position for Doodles. What are your thoughts on bringing on someone like this to be your CEO of your project that's already pretty well established in the NFT space?
I mean, I do think that it can be controversial for the people in this space right now, like Web3 and whatnot. But personally, and I've said this before, like, I would have rather have somebody who knows how to lead a team that's trying to push the space forward and also being successful beforehand, right? Rather than take these bets on people who have no experience in the past of running any type of project, company, team, whatever. And I know that, this may be a little biased or not fair, but in terms of where I would rather put my money, that's just what it comes down to. Like, I would rather know that somebody has done it before than again, just taking the risk on them doing it for the first time.
So in that sense, you like this hire?
I mean, I don't know much about the guy, but
Yeah.
I know Doodles. They've been quietly just chugging along, man. Like they've been working at it. It seems that they've taken the right kind of moves. I don't know. I didn't really look at the response of their duplicator announcement or how that's gonna work, but I know up until this point, I mean, I think everything that they've done has been pretty positively received. I know the rocket was a little controversial, but that was just more from like a rollout standpoint, like making sure people had the correct information. But what they had tried to do was pretty cool. It's just they probably didn't inform their users how that worked correctly.
Yeah, and I feel like Doodles have just hung in there for so long, and like a lot of these projects that were around them have either bypassed them or failed, and the ones that have bypassed them, they've made mistakes. Like Azuki's like flew past Doodles, and then they were kind of the proclaim like, okay, well this is now the number 3 project, right? This is now the top 3, and kind of past Doodles. But I feel like Doodles have been kind of sneaky quiet, and they're hanging up there, and they're. I mean, if I'm looking purely at floor price right now, you've got obviously the OG apes, you've got moonbirds, mutants, and then right next is Doodles. So if you count Macy and Basie in the same ecosystem, then technically Doodles are a top 3 profile picture project right now. And that's not including punks or cyberkongs. So I guess punks you would throw in there because they're 10K. I don't count cyberkongs because it's just a 1K collection. But so they are top 3, top 4, which they're hanging in there, and bringing in a hire like this, this could definitely open up opportunities for more real life connections, more real life collabs, kind of like what maybe Guy Osiris done for the apes. Maybe Julian can do for the Doodles, which I think could be a good opportunity for them and for their holders.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
So speaking of Doodles, they had some other news on, May 8th. So this was on Sunday. They announced that, hey, so in 2 days, May 12th, every Doodle holder will be able to claim a duplicator. And they haven't released any details. This is all we know so far. It's just, hey, it's a functional piece of Doodle machinery with with extraordinary powers. My first thought about this was, I remember how much criticism they got, and I was one that was heavily critical of Doodles whenever they released their spaceship, their whole innovative, non-diluted way to grow the Doodles ecosystem. Right, you could just wrap your Doodle into the same NFT, but it's now a spaceship, but they're linked together, so you can't sell it. Right, and they got so much criticism because it's like you're not really rewarding your holders. They can't take profits without still selling their original Doodle, pretty much. And my first thought when I saw this announcement is, in the way that it's titled, like the duplicator, it makes me feel like that this is going to be a way that people can maybe separate the spaceship from the Doodle. Was that your initial take, or do you have a different kind of speculative play on this?
I think this one would just be more of like a true mutant, right? Like a true second gen Doodle, versus the first one is more like an enhancement, and then this one is like a second gen type of Doodle. So okay. I think it will be a separate NFT that they are able to sell. My question is like, what if you can wrap the dupe into a spaceship? I don't know. But yeah, I think this is something that they responded with. Like, they heard their community, hey, spaceships are dumb, we just want another thing, so that way we can have two,
have two,
1 Gen 1, 1 Gen 2, sell Gen 2,
a lower price point for people to enter the ecosystem, because right now there hasn't been any for that yet for them.
Yeah, so this is just in response to that. Maybe they were planning it beforehand, I don't know, but that's the way that I think the mechanics will work. Yo, GM Dolly.
Yeah, do you have any Doodles yet, or are you all sold out?
Dude, I think I had 2. I'm pretty sure I had 2 at one point. But no, I sold all the way like back at 5 ETH, 4 ETH.
Yeah, I've been contemplating buying into Doodles though, because I mean, they're just, like I said, they're kind of like they've just been steady. They've been quiet. They haven't been doing anything wrong. They haven't been doing anything like super extraordinary, crazy that sets them apart. But that's better than doing, sketchy stuff or doing things wrong that gets called out and voted pretty hard, like we've seen with Azuki's or even Cool Cats kind of failing to meet expectations for their game. And I'm kind of looking at maybe sending it on a Doodle before this claim period, just in case like it turns into something that really makes them like skyrocket into a higher position than 3 or 4. Like maybe they can go up to number 2 or so. I don't know. Is this something we're looking into? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily like a bad idea at all. It's just for me, I'm treading carefully in this market, not necessarily
absolutely.
try to snipe the bottom of any project, but just getting a feeler, right? Like let this trend over a little bit, whether that lasts a week, does it last a month, okay, and then kind of just make my decision. It may be too logical, I don't know, but that's just my approach, and it's what works for me.
I think it does look like this may be like some type of serum type of thing, like we've seen at the 8 with mutants. So yeah, I'm good. And maybe they have something similar to the mutant launch, like there's 10K released, and then there's gonna be a 10K public sale. That's not really announced because that wasn't announced at the time for Bored Apes. We didn't know that there was gonna be an additional 10K for public. So maybe that's something to definitely keep an eye on in a couple of days. And maybe it's something. Maybe Thursday is gonna be very interesting to have like some liquidity ready to be just to be ready, just for whatever happens, just have that liquidity ready to jump in. At least that's what I'm gonna be doing, and I'll be following it pretty closely if I don't buy ahead of time.
And then I think most of our viewers kind of know this at the moment, but just for those who don't, maybe you're kind of newer to the scene, whatever, anytime that you do see some dilutive kind of mechanic introduced to a collection, don't expect, like if we bought Doodles at, let's just say 15 ETH, don't expect that to stay at 15, the claim period go through, you have your dupe, and then that dupe is now worth 5. So it's not going to be 15 plus 5. It's pretty much going to, what we've seen like historically is that maybe the Doodles will drop the same amount as whatever the duplicators would be. So it's still going to be around 15 ETH in the end. But your Doodle kind of drops down to 10, and then the other one kind of takes on the rest of the value.
Yeah, except with the Zukis. Whenever the beans drop, the Zukis pumped even more.
Zukis.
That was the first time we saw like that separation where that didn't really happen. But even with apes and like the land sale and the serums, everything, like we've always seen like usually the price difference between those two is usually the same as before. All right, so this next bit of news. This is, I'm gonna be completely honest, something you sent over, and I looked at it and I said, nah, I'm not gonna read that. I'm gonna let him explain it to me. So, Jeremy, go ahead and break this down. What is McLaren doing in NFTs in the metaverse?
Essentially, McLaren has like quite a few different departments. One of them is more of like a digital innovation center. And so they're doing stuff with VR, AR. Obviously, they're bringing that over to the metaverse in terms of NFTs. But it looks like they're going to be doing some type of drop. So I don't know if it's going to be a metaverse or something for one of the existing metaverses. But there will be more information to come. Obviously, this is an announcement of an announcement.
Yep.
But the reason I pulled it up is because we saw how well the Bugatti one went. And I'm not sure if you kept up with that, but the Bugatti mint was around, I think, 2 or 3 ETH. And the floor for that, I mean, not even a week after, was like 15 or 16 ETH. It was a hand-carved, like, collectible. So you had an NFT counterpart, and then you also redeemed it for the physical. Not saying McLaren is going to do something like that, but it's worth keeping an eye on just in case. Like we've seen, now we've seen that there are enough car enthusiasts in the space to potentially pump a project. So maybe something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Whenever you see these big names, it's always worth keeping an eye on because they can bring in new buyers that are new to the space, that basically some newfound money, and there's always a lot of eyes on some of these companies and big projects entering the space.
Yeah, because I made the mistake of not minting the Bugatti project because I was like, okay, how many people in this space would actually buy like a car related NFT? And
Right.
in my head, I was thinking like, nah, and especially not for that price. But I was just absolutely like 200% wrong, and
Yeah.
so I don't want to be in that position again. So I'll wait, see what this looks like, and then make a better informed decision then.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, like Bugatti is one of like in McLaren. These are some of the bigger names in car. Like these are like the big brands. Like if we think of like this is like Nike and Adidas, right, of clothing, but this is them of cars. But you know, I wouldn't expect like like Kia to come out. Actually, I think Kia did come out with an NFT and it didn't go very well. So like some of those like lower names are like, hey, they make good cars, but they're not like they're not like no one buys a Kia because it's like, oh man, I just really want to own a Kia someday. It's just like my dream. I want to get rich and buy a Kia. Like no, that doesn't happen. It's like you want to get rich, you want to buy a Ferrari, you want to buy a Bugatti, you want to buy a Lambo. Like you want to buy these big brands that are like perceived as this luxury, right?
For the mint of one of the Bugatti NFTs, you could have bought like a used Kia. And then for the secondary price, you could have bought like a top of the line, all decked out. Like no, probably two Kias for the secondary price.
Oh man, and it sounds like I'm funding Kias right now, but I got one in my driveway. That's when I drive a Kia, and we drive a Dodge. So hey, we're I don't have any of those luxury cars. But all right, we've got some. I guess this is kind of we may start seeing this more often now, but so Nvidia, they're having to pay a fine. They're having to pay the man. They failed to report some crypto minings, and now they have to pay the SEC $5.5 million because they didn't disclose some of their revenue boost was due to crypto. Kind of crazy.
You'll start seeing, the SEC kind of crack down on these things. It's not like they're witch hunting. It's just use, and this is like legislation or laws or whatever tax stuff that was already in place. So this was nothing that changed because of NFTs, but it still shows you kind of how early we are in the sense that Nvidia, and we all know how big of a company they are.
Yeah.
Like even they themselves are not necessarily keeping up with the rules per se, or not following them. Maybe they're updated, but they didn't follow them. And the SEC is cracking down on them. They came with a bill. They said pay us or else. And just interesting to see. And one of the things is, I wonder. We talked about last week. Like we talked about Fort Worth making the decision to mine Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So. And this article is essentially related to the components that NVIDIA makes for crypto mining. Do you, in the future, could you see yourself setting up a miner?
No.
No.
Why
or why not?
I'm not smart enough and that stuff. I'm not smart enough, and even if it's easy or it sounds easy, I'm just thinking about doing the research for it. Like I'm just like, man, that just sounds like a lot. Even if it's not a lot at all, it just in my head, I'm like, that just sounds way over my head and crazy to the point that I'm never just gonna like, let's just go do it. So I don't think I ever will, but maybe who knows? But at this point in my life, I'm like, no, I'm okay not.
Yo, Toasty with the sub or a gift. I don't know. They don't tell us if it was gifted or not, but Toasty, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it.
It was gifted. It was gifted by Pitch Dark. He actually Pitch gifted one to JVB earlier too. I think we missed that. So Pitch with 2 gifted today. Pitch definitely appreciate that.
This man,
this
guy must have sold ETH at 3,000.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm about to say like this. All right, the writing's on the wall. He's just kind of showing off now. He's basically just telling everybody like, "Hey guys, look, I'm rich." All right.
Yeah, he must have sold ETH above 3K. No cap. No, but it's kind of. I wonder if there would be a market or a business within the NFT crowd, and I know there's already models out there like this already, where people kind of group investing into miners and setting up those networks. But I wonder if there would be enough demand from like an NFT project standpoint. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think about it in my head. If we go out and buy some property, set it up with miners, like raise some funds. Little crowd fund, essentially. I
just want to say we disrespected Pitch right there too, because he also gifted one to Law Dog earlier.
Shit.
yeah, pitch. That's our
This
bad.
man's on one.
On our stream version, we only see subs, so we have to go to like a different window to see if it's actually gifted or somewhat. So, apologize we missed that. Appreciate those 3 gifted today.
Yep. Oh, Law Dog says just on the topic of mining, like his electric rates more than doubled last month. So don't know who else is dealing with that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the last time I looked at my electric bill, to be honest. So I'm gonna have to go check that. Thank you.
Yeah, and then we've got Toasty that just gifted a sub. So it's just kind of like one of those things where the person in front of you pays for your meal in the drive-thru, so then you pay it forward, you pay for the person behind you, and you just, hey, that's how the train gets started, right?
I appreciate it.
But yeah, I mean, I know you're a lot more technical, smarter than I am. Are you looking into mining, setting up anything?
I think that would definitely be a part of like my diversification strategy.
Yeah. Would you be more? Because I'm sure they're different. Like there's the Bitcoin mining versus like Ethereum mining. Would you try to do both? Pick one over the other?
I'd probably try to do my research and like try to pick one over the other. To be honest, I'm not sure why I haven't done it already. Like plenty of space and like know-how. I think I just got to sit down and do it. Like actually do the labor, do the work.
Right.
Because I don't want one of the like pre-built ones where you're essentially just paying the premium on the top of it because you don't know how to set it up or run it. So yeah, it's just a matter of time, I guess.
Cool. I'd be curious to know if anyone in our chat is actively, if they have any mining experience, or if you have any nodes set up and where you guys are at for either Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything else.
That is one thing that I want to do is like I want to set up my local node of Ethereum.
Gotcha.
So that way I can kind of just be in the driver's seat in terms of like when MetaMask was down that one day, or like Etherscan not working, blah blah blah. Like the network is still going. It's just you can't really talk to it. But if you had your own node that you could refer to, you'd be a-okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into. This is the beginning of some of the drama, but this is an announcement for Azuki's that's before everything broke. So we're gonna act like we don't even know about everything that happened, but before everything went down, yesterday and today. So it looks like we had another pretty big hire for the Azuki's. So they welcomed Rihito Hatoyama as an advisor to, I think Cheerio Labs is like, I think they're the ones that are over Azuki's, like that's like their version of Yuga Labs. So it looks like they brought someone in, he is a former CEO in Web 2, someone that helped build a brand like Hello Kitty. So he's got a pretty big experience of like managing and building a global brand. So it looks like he's back. He's on as an advisor for Azuki's. Similar to the Doodles hire. What I mean, do you think this is similar? Do you think it's kind of like this is a good fit? It's a good move for them. General takes knowing. I mean, we're gonna try to forget knowing what we know now. They probably should have spent this money on a PR person now, right? But no, just if we just go blank, we just take that whole Men in Black Flash. We forgot what happened the last 24 hours with the Azukis. This is our take from Sunday. Hey, how are we feeling about this?
I mean, yeah, this was announced before everything else that happened like that. It was almost a week ago. But I liked the move when it got announced. I was like, hey, yo, that's cool. Kind of like, not that they needed validation, but this is just kind of like the cherry on top. Definitely at the time. And then now I'm thinking kind of like JVP just commented. Is it too late for him to change his mind?
He said, you know what? Never mind, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pass.
Or the other thought in my head is if he got brought on to be the chief strategic officer and like he knew about, the history of these guys, and he's like, hey, yo, I have a great idea. This is like perfect first step that I want to take in strategy is just to be transparent with our holders and let them know who you guys are.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's brought on as an advisor, so he's not brought on as the CEO. He's just an advisor, right? He's not, does no like official C-suite position or anything with the company yet. Hey, who knows? Maybe he's maybe he's in takeover mode. Maybe he's the one that blackmailed Zagabond to release everything because now he's going to take over.
Yeah. What if he advised Zagabond to tell people this? Then hey, fire him.
If that's the case, we better buy Azuki's right now. But yeah, I mean, again, knowing what trying to forget what we knew, I think this was a good move because, obviously, I think Azuki's above all. They're trying to build a brand around Azuki instead of just, these digital pictures. They're trying to make it like a worldwide, world-renowned brand. And someone that has experience like Rahito, that's a really good move to bring that person onto your team. Someone that has experience with that, because everyone knows what Hello Kitty is, right? And it's huge, especially like in the Asian markets. Hello Kitty is a whole lot bigger than it is here in America. And I think Azuki's are kind of trying to target that similar audience, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, Hello Kitty, like you just said, is huge. So if they can replicate some of that and make it into a cultural thing, and just like Bored Ape is, right? Like that's a cultural thing. It's not a digital collectible only. It's just infiltrated like the hype beast and all those other communities where so many people know about Bored Apes now. And Hello Kitty did it before Bored Apes. So if Azuki can do that and kind of survive through the FUD, I think they'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah. So speaking of surviving through the FUD, well, you may ask, what is the FUD? What's going on with Azuki's? Why are they down? And it all started last night, with this tweet. So Zagabond released an article, and in it, the bombshell was released that they were also the team behind Funks, they were behind Zunks, and they were behind the project called Tendies. Like I said earlier, it's basically like a My Effing Pickle copy project after that got popular. So I think they went from like Tendies to Funks to Zunks. And nobody knew this. This was like pretty much news to everybody. I'm surprised nobody knew, considering how big Azuki got. And we know that you got the Zach X bots in the world, you got the NFT ethics, you got all these people that are these quote unquote on-chain sleuths doing their research, trying to expose people. And I'm kind of surprised with how big Azuki got. People were looking into the contract, they're looking into the founders, they're looking into the owners, and no one really exposed them yet. Now what came to it, from what I understand, is that some people did find out, and they were the ones that were kind of, according to Zagabond from the Spaces today, people were harassing him and threatening him and his family to release it on his own before they did it. So it sounds like he was pressured to release this information. So it looks like he got caught and had to release it. But yeah, this is a bombshell. Well, I mean, what were you doing? What was your instant reaction whenever you saw this? And you're like, wait, they're the ones behind these projects too?
I was on the toilet. I was just catching up over the weekend, and I was just doing some Twitter scrolling, and then I saw the news. I'm like, hey, that's kind of crazy, because I immediately just thought back to when Steve was minting all the Zunks. And,
Zunks are a vibe.
Zunks are a vibe. But I get what he was trying to say, but this is just so hard, because essentially he's just calling Azuki like another experiment for him, right?
Yep.
Because you can't assume that, okay, now I'm done experimenting, this is the one. If a guy has a track record of doing this with his projects, then what's to say like it won't happen with Azuki as well?
Yeah.
And that's a big question mark. So I don't know if he told the team that he was going to release this. I don't know if they approved it or not. But one of the things that I would have done, one of the things that I would have been okay with, is if Azuki said, hey, Zagabond, whatever, is leaving the team, or, we're splitting up, going different ways. And it was more like a prepared statement like that. It would have been cool. But to drop this on the community like that, I think you saw the results. I don't think
it's crazy.
Been surprised.
It's crazy the timing. Like yesterday was already like without this was already just complete red, blood in the streets, toxic, negativity like crazy. And then this kind of came in at the end of like the workday, like like, hey, oh, by the way, like one of the top projects in the system right now was also the ones behind, you know, these projects that people hate. Like people, unless you own a funk, you hate funks, right? Like nobody thinks funks is a good NFT project unless you own a funk, or, you know, and then you're just trying to protect your backs pretty much, or you're just trying to be this, you're trying to over exaggerate this counterculture and how there's value there. But no one likes funks. No one, I mean, Zunks, you know, it's whatever. No one really, no one takes them seriously. Like I don't take any of these derivative projects seriously. They're just trying to make a quick buck based off of the coattails of a popular project, and in this case, it's CryptoPunks. I guess I will say, like, I remember whenever Zunks were minting, I think I remember people like actually being pretty impressed with the system they had. Like it was an on-chain. It wasn't like it obviously was a punk derivative, but they weren't like exact copies of punks. Like they took all the punk traits and qualities and everything, and then you were able to mint it on chain, and it kind of randomized to a brand new punk. But there was something in the system where it wouldn't let you, it wouldn't allow there to be a repeat punk. Like you couldn't mint a Zunk that looks exactly like a CryptoPunk. And I think that's kind of how they avoided some of their DMCA stuff. But yeah, I mean, and I remember one thing for Zunks, it was a quote female-led project, right? And I don't know if you were listening. Did you listen to the Twitter Spaces at all this morning? It was
not at all.
It was like half an hour. It started like an hour before we went live. But yeah, so Andrew Yang this morning had a Twitter Spaces with Zagabon, who is, you know, the creator of Azuki's, and basically just, hey, we're gonna have a Twitter Space, and we're gonna ask some questions and see what his response is. And so one of the questions was, hey, well, Zunks was, you know, this it was like championed as this woman-led project. There's this person, OX, you know, 0x Mandy was the developer behind it. Was that you, or were you posing as a woman just to you know, have that aspect of it? But then he said that no, there was a female like dev on his team that, you know, was the owner behind that account, but also it was a shared Twitter account, so he posted from it as well. Oh no. My bad pitch. Sorry.
Yo.
I was just looking at Lobby 3 stuff the other day, so I
cancel this man.
Yeah, so, Andrew Wang, the Web3 Andrew, and yeah, basically like this female on his team, this woman had, you know, she was the quote behind the person behind the 0x Mandy Twitter account. But like I said earlier, like he said it was basically a shared account, and he would post on it as well. So it was like, you know, didn't really pass it was a very sketchy answer, and kind of made it sound like that was like a prepped answer, and it was mainly him behind it. But this is a girl on his team. Let's just say it was her account, and let's just like try to pass it that way. That's kind of, if I'm reading between the lines, that's how I'm taking it. Mm-hmm. But the Twitter Spaces, you know, Andrew asked. He asked a lot of the good questions. His only issue was he didn't do a lot of the follow-up questions. Like he asked some pretty hard questions for Zagabond, and Zagabond would answer and give a really wishy-washy answer that didn't really mean anything. It was very like left a lot to be said. Actually, he said a lot without saying anything. And then Andrew would move on to the next question instead of diving in and trying to dive deeper and, you know, really kind of try to get him to expose or talk deeper about things. So that was my only takeaway from that interview. That, and then the whole Spaces went to crap after Zagabond got off, and then Andrew led up like a bunch of people on stage, including Pauly from Funks, including Cold Pizza, who's, you know, fudded the cats, fudded Cool Mans, fudded every project he's been in pretty much, and the Space just went crazy then. And then it should have just ended there. It was a bad idea, I think, leaving it up. And I'm pretty sure there's still Spaces going on right now. Like I think Pauly's hosting one right now, just completely trying to tear into them, which that's to be expected. Anytime there's some kind of controversy in the NFT space, you can expect the Funks and Poly to be at the center of it, because that's the only way that they get people to talk about their profile picture, is if they're the ones behind, the backlash, right? They want to put themselves right in the middle, but to make themselves relevant, you get Poly, Ryder, these leeches that just come into this community and just try to, play off of all this emotion and toxicity, and they try to make it even more. Like, he's already trying to dox these people and give out addresses and stuff. It's disgusting. Like, it really is. Like, I know we say that like as a joke a lot of times, like, oh, it's just disgusting. Like, it actually is. Like, some of the behavior of people in the space right now, it's really bad. As much as I think Zagabond is, terrible, he's in the wrong, he didn't sound remorseful, there wasn't even really a sorry in the Twitter spaces. It was just kind of like it kind of gave the vibe out of I'm just sorry that I got caught, and that's why I'm sorry. Right? There was no like actual remorse or anything, and he's only doing this because he got caught. But people are taking advantage of it and trying to clout chase off of it as well.
Yeah,
so
I've seen that he's tried to essentially hand over though the CryptoFunks and CryptoZunks.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
He has, but he hasn't actually officially handed over the contract and the keys. Like, he still owns the keys, and he's still getting royalties on sales.
Okay.
So I think the community's kind of taken over some things on their own, but like the official keys, it hasn't been like 100% handover. Like, they're still holding onto some of it.
Got it. And they're down bad, right? Like, what's the all-time high? 24, 26?
For Azuki's?
Yeah.
Like 34. All-time
really?
high.
34,
yeah.
Okay.
They just hit 30 over the weekend again. Like, they pumped back up to 30 recently, but their all-time high is mid 30s on that huge run up. They got up to like 33, 34, 35.
And now it's at 10.
Let me check. Let me look at Gym. I always check my floors on Gym because I can see it on all platforms. So 10.9 is the current floor right now.
Get it.
And you're seeing a lot of the sales right now are people that bought in the high 20s. They bought at 30. They're taking these 20 ETH baths and just moving on.
Yeah, that's nuts. And it feels bad for the people who like made a buttload off of, because we seen Azuki's pump actually during Moonbirds, because like people were hitting a lick off of Moonbirds, right, and then going and buying Azuki, or even the lands, the other deeds. People, they took their other deeds profit, put it into Azuki, because Azuki was like that up and coming, like next Bored Ape type of project. Yeah. And to see this happen, like you said, in this timing, is just, it's sad, man. And I'm not surprised to see so many people just react in a toxic way. And I don't know, for me, I'm just glad that I've stayed off Twitter for the most part over the weekend and yesterday. I think I haven't really been affected by that. I mean, I'm not an Azuki holder, but even if I was, like, I just wouldn't want to participate in the stuff that happens online, like social media wise.
Yeah, and they're getting attacked pretty hard right now. I can show this as well. So earlier, NFTs Anonymous tried to expose Azuki by saying that 8,000 ETH just got moved by the Azuki team. Can't make this up. Well, it actually never happened.
It was a long time ago, right?
Like it actually didn't happen. Like, it didn't just happen, and then so someone's saying like, can't make this up, makes it up. Right? It's like people are just trying to take advantage of this. They're trying to pile on. They're just trying to. It's crazy, because it's like, as much as I agree, like, this is terrible. Like Zagabond should, probably be removed from the project if possible, and or someone else take it over, or I don't know how to handle it. But also, it's like, this is one of those situations where I'm in the middle, and I don't like either side. I'm like, y'all both taking it too far. Like, come on. I feel like everyone just, like, with the state of the market right now, everyone just has this built up toxicity, negativity, and now they found their outlet, and now it's being just thrusted on Azuki's. And even Andrew, after his interview, he was getting a ton of hate just from, how dare he host that space, and how dare he allow, give that guy a platform to come on and defend his position, which I think is kind of, unfair, because we want to, we want to hear the side. We want to see these questions answered. Like, we can't have all these questions and then just not find out the answer, or not hear a reasoning behind it, right? That's, I want to hear what Zagabond had to say to some of these questions that were thrown out.
Do you think it would have been a lot better if, let's say, he just says this at the very beginning of Azuki, like, hey, my previous projects were these, and now I've learned from that, and now I'm starting Azuki. Like obviously they wouldn't have skyrocketed the way they did, but overall I feel like it would have been a lot more healthy, and he would have had the not even the chance. Like he would have it would have been okay for him like remaining on the team and being a core part of that team. I think if it's up front.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it wasn't just him. Like, there's several people on the Azuki's team that were part. They're one team that did all the projects together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the core team. I don't think Azuki's would have taken off as much as it did if people knew that, honestly, because I think people would have seen Azuki, and I think they would have. Early on with the Azukis, we saw the comments of just like, hey, this is just an Oni copy. It's just an Oni Force copy. That's all it is. And I think if people would have known that it was the same people behind Funks and Zunks, I think that narrative would have stuck a whole lot more than it actually did. And I don't think it would have taken off as much.
Or they do that and they say like this mint or whatever, like crypto Zunks and the Funks and whatever, like they get like a discounted mint, free claim, and all that stuff.
Add them to the whitelist if they wanted.
Yeah, there could have been options that I think would have been better than this, but hindsight's always 2020. It's just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and do you think that it's so the term rug pull is like being thrown out all over the place? What's your definition of a rug pull?
I have no idea, bro.
Because a lot of people is like a lot of people in the NFTs right now, their definition of a rug pull is price is down. That's a rug pull. It's below mint. That's a rug.
I mainly for me, a rug pull is just when the founder or a core part of the team essentially cash out and like just dip. But if they're trying and the floor is just literally staying at whatever 0.10, whatever it may be. Like, that's not a rug pull. That's just, it didn't live up to expectations yet. But at the same time, like, can you really expect some random project to sustain above a 0.1 floor or 0 floor? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to like, at what point are founders allowed to leave a project without it being called rug pull, right? So like, and I think of Ethlings in this aspect. Like Ethlings, they were early on pretty much. They had a pretty good like, I feel like they had pretty good technology integrating ETH mainnet and Polygon and doing these gasless transactions, these customizable NFTs, but it just never stuck and never caught on. And they kept trying to build and do things for months afterwards, and all of a sudden, like, months have passed, Discord's dead, project's dead, nothing's going on, and they just decided to walk away. And I don't think that's a rug pull, right? Like, there's no community, there's no sales, there's no nothing there. They walked away, but then you get Pranksy calling them out for being a rug pull because Pranksy bought in, and because he still owned like I think several hundred, so he called it a rug pull. But it's just there was nothing there there's nothing there to rug at that point, right? It's just like they kind of tried to revive it. They tried to do what they did what they said early on, and it's just nothing stuck. And I think founders should be allowed at a certain point hey, once you fulfill what you initially stated out, whenever someone buys something that you sold, as long as you fulfill what you said that mint price, that early cost is going to entail, if you fulfill that, I don't consider that a rug. I wasn't there for the mint of Funks. I was there for minting Zunks, but I don't recall like what the promises were by the team, so I can't, I don't know if it was a rug or not, just based off of my personal experience.
Yeah, I wish there was a way to like trickle funds into the treasury or like founder salary and whatnot from a smart contract. The thing is that there is a way to trickle it, but like who governs it, and would you really trust like a holders or community to govern that? Like, okay, if it's a majority vote that, hey, I have hit this milestone, then I get this paycheck essentially. But what if you get rugged by your holders and they vote no?
Yo, Snow, thanks for that sub. Appreciate that.
Snow with the 3 months in a row. Appreciate you, baby.
It's, I don't know, man. It's a weird one. I think the sketchiest thing for me for this situation on their end, and I think this is where they're completely in the wrong, is that they walked away from these projects but they're still collecting the royalties while the community is trying to revive it, right? But
Yeah.
they're still collecting royalties. And it's come out that, once Looks Rare became a thing and we saw all that wash trading, Funks were pretty popular for wash trading because there was no fees. There was no founder fees or no creator fees or anything. And without any mention or without any like heads up or anything, they just changed the contract and add a 5% fee to Funks on Looks Rare. So then people that were wash trading didn't see that, they didn't notice it, so they continued to wash trade. And then Azuki team ended up getting 300 ETH from Looks Rare fees because people didn't know that there was fees at that time. So then it stopped pretty quickly after that. But that's one thing, like, okay, that's sketchy, right? Like, that's like you've been away from this project for so long, but you're still gonna adjust the secondary fees. And I'm sure you knew these were being wash traded, so I think you knew what you were doing, even if you say you don't. Like, I think that shows intent, and I think that's bad, and that's real bad.
I mean, I have to agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's really anything to add that I can say that. Pitch Dark NFA is a wreck. One thing though, somewhat on the topic, is that the Indifferent Duck team. Did you see the news about them?
I didn't. No.
They made a little post on Medium. Essentially, the team, Indifferent Duck team, announced that they will be stepping away. They're going to be stepping down from the project, and the reasons that they gave were a toxic market and the way that it's affecting their health as the main reasons for stepping away. They are trying to find somebody to acquire the brand and the IP, but regardless of whether or not they do, they will be stepping down. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Do we take over Indifferent Ducks?
Is this what we've been waiting for? This is our project. This is our chance. You got the squeaky duck right there on your microphone. You're ready to go.
Yo, this has been a long time coming. So here's announcement today. NFA is not taking over the Indifferent Ducks.
We're not. No, definitely not taking over Indifferent Ducks or Ducks. Yeah, that's. I didn't see that, but that's interesting. That's fun. That's some interesting reasons to leave because of the toxic market.
If they're being, and we can only assume that they're being honest,
yeah.
right? Like,
yeah.
Mental health is a real thing. If I think that there's probably ways to go about this that people would find acceptable. We've yet to see how it's going to go down. But if that's their reason, that's their reason. But it's just weird timing again, like you said, because we've been through bear weeks before, but this one just seems like, from what I'm hearing, is like just incredibly toxic. And we keep coming back to that word, and I don't know really why that is. Like, why is this period of time so much more worse and negative than others? And for me, it actually doesn't affect my outlook on the overall market anymore, but it affects my outlook on people. Mm-hmm. And the people that are in this space, and it just shows me like a huge lack of like maturity, and this is why I don't really participate in any, like, I join Discords and I never talk. Like, yep. I don't care about making these like new relationships with, like, I don't know, just people of random projects. Like, I'm just here to flip a little bit, trade a little bit, but then also just mainly to learn about what we can do through the use and the power of NFTs. So for me, it's just more about an educational standpoint. Yeah. It's not really the social aspect. Like, I don't even, in Discord, I don't even rep my Bored Ape. Like, I could care less. Like, I literally, my PFP is not my identity, and I don't want to hide behind that.
It's because you're a Moonbird, and you're a Moonbird maxi now.
Oh, wait, I did. No, it's only in the Shillerverse server that I have it as a Moonbird. You almost got me there as well. I was like, wait a second.
Oh, I see. It is your actual face on your general Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do that, but I would probably get banned because, it's just people don't like my face as much as they like your face. I'll just say that.
Say what?
Yeah, and we've got like I'm just trying to catch up with some things too. So Paulie, like I said, like, this is him trying to dox, the Azuki founder. This is his way of trying to dox him. And then the guy that he pointed out actually tweeted and said, "I don't even like anime." I thought that was funny, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a very negative day on Twitter. I can already tell. I'm probably gonna be listening to some of these spaces just to, hey, just to keep up with it, and I don't know why, but yeah, just like so says, just makes you appreciate friendship even more. That's what we're here for. We're all here for the friendships, and that's where our true network is, our actual network and not our net worth, right?
Yeah. One of the things is like, just like Shillerverse is not necessarily a project. I know he has the stuff going on with Shot to the Moon and whatnot, but like the Shillerverse is not a project. It's not even like an alpha Discord that's paid or whatnot. Yeah. It's literally just a group of people that were kind of there from a little bit over a year ago and just trying to figure all this stuff out together. Like that's why I participate in there essentially, instead of some Moonbird's Discord, Proof Discord, Bored Ape Discord. Like I've probably sent a total of like 10 messages in the Bored Ape Discord, no cap. Mm-hmm. And I've held it for over a year.
It's probably all like last summer and nothing recent.
Yeah, so that's my take, and you wouldn't find me saying, yeah, we love the cats and hanging out in the Cool Cats Discord, but that's just me. No shots to anybody that does do that. It's just the place where I'm at mentally and in life. I do not want to participate in any of that.
Yeah.
One little shout out as we kind of like wrap things up here is if you do have a pre-mint token, the claim period is now open to get your free Nano S Plus. Nano S Plus. So that's gonna be, it's free, but then you got to pay for shipping. In the US, for me, it was about $13. So I think you have another 5-6 days to be able to do that. Cool. We should probably go over, I don't want to say security, but we should probably go over hardware wallets sometime soon.
Yeah, we definitely should. I think we could. Yeah, we could have like a beginner's security like segment, something where we go over ledgers and hardware wallets.
Yeah. I'd love to see more projects doing this and not necessarily like charging the holders in the mint cost of that, but taking some of the secondary like the royalties or even just partnering, just if you're a big enough brand to partner with Ledger because you have that leverage and to do things like this to give away free ledgers, because I think it's essential, important, vital. And everybody should learn how to use one. Everybody should have one when you're dealing with cryptocurrencies. It's not the only thing that you should use, but it should be a part of your toolbox.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was kind of all of the notes we had. We'll be back here on Thursday. We'll have some actual segments on Thursday as well. I think we're going to have a pretty juicy paper hand segment on Thursday, actually, after yesterday and today. Probably going to feature some Azukis. Probably going to feature some apes, some other, basically everything. I can definitely see a pretty spicy paper hands segment on Thursday. But yeah, well, let us know if there's any particular segments that you guys want to see or you haven't seen in a while and you want to see it again, or you just, hey, that was fun, let's do it. Let me know. You can tweet us. You can let me know in the Discord, and as we still plan out for Thursday, I can incorporate that as well. But Jeremy, any final news or notes for us?
Featuring Hunar, paper hand. No, just kidding. Not necessarily any news, but just a reminder, everybody, if you're not in the Shillerverse Discord, not that I'm pumping Shiller's Discord or whatnot, but we do have a tool in there called GM by Curio Tools. That is a Discord tool where you don't have to open up another browser. You don't have to go to Curio Tools app or be a part of their beta access. But if you go into that Shillerverse Discord, and it's like free pretty much for anybody that's in there, you don't have to be a booster or a sub. It's analytics by Curio. You can go in there, type commands. You can look at things such as like floor walls, essentially. You can find best deals of a collection. You can find other types of statistics, such as the latest volume over time and just things like that. But I just wanted to shout that out because a lot of people don't know about that, the tool in general, but a lot of people don't know that it's just in Shillerverse server there for free for you to use. So
yep. Cool. Well, that's it. That's everything I had. I don't have anything to finish up on. I'm looking forward to Thursday. This new little schedule. We'll be back to our usual schedule next week. Oh, one more thing.
I just do want to say, like, don't take anything that we said, such as like sale shaming. Like, do what you want to do. I'm just saying, like, have a strategy. So if you've sold recently, like, don't feel like that we're attacking you or anything like that. I'll probably look up today like a couple things to sell, but it's not because like we're in a down market or things are red. It's just because that was a part of my overall strategy. So I hope nobody felt like that. Like, do your own thing, do what's best for you and your family.
No. I think if you sell, then you're completely stupid right now. No,
yeah, so
no, absolutely.
Just positive, good vibes. Like, you know what's best for you.
Yep.
We would just hope that, and if you did have questions, like maybe you ask us for advice or something like that. We're not going to tell you exactly what to do. And I'm not saying we, like me and Tech, like go in the Discord, ask the other guys and girls, if you were in my situation, kind of what would you do? And we can kind of help you think of all other alternatives, and then maybe you come up with a different strategy.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
yeah, and also, I mean, my advice is just really tune out the negativity, right? Like, there's times where I'm like, hey, we should probably be more negative. Like, it's too euphoric right now. But right now, whenever people are being overly negative, overly toxic, you just gotta tune it out. Just realize that, a lot of people in this space right now, they got weak stomachs. They haven't been in these markets like for too long, me included. So whenever these prices and their portfolios are fluctuating as much as they are, then it's easy to get bearish, and it's easy to get negative, and it's easy to fall into the trap of like, hey, wait, everyone around me is negative. I should probably be negative as well. I should think this is all going to zero. Just try to tune some of that out. Go touch some grass, like we say, or talk to hit up the Discord, or just laugh it through. But
just a challenge. Like, just literally be nice to somebody today. Like, do somebody a favor, do something kind, and just try to change the scene currently, just kind of one person at a time. So all right.
Well, with that being said, we will see everybody on Thursday. Until then, as usual, check that posture, drink that water, stay hydrated, grind those whitelists, and be your own alpha.
NFA, you'll be your own alpha. Thank you for stopping by.
Peace.
Appreciate you. Peace.